Welcome back to another exciting episode of Smith Street 86. I'm Mitch.
And I'm Jordan, and we got a really exciting episode lined up for you.
We do indeed, but I feel like there's something that we have to start with. Do you remember what that was?
Yes, yeah, Mitch, it's a 3D printer.
The 3D printer.
We've been doing this for a while now.
Yeah, we have.
Okay.
So the 3D printer superstore from Collingwood has printed out a mystery object that we have to guess.
Let's check it out. But you can play along at home as well, which is the fun part. So like we'll see bit by bit, and then you can guess with us, and we have no idea.
Yeah,
it's
like
incredible.
try and tweet your guesses. Let's go.
Oh my god, let's have a look. Okay, so I think it's a bed.
I think it's a Coke bottle.
Oh, it could be a Coke bottle. Maybe it's a Pepsi one though. Like,
I'm
you never
sensing
know.
like a rocket ship, maybe.
Maybe a rocket ship, maybe like a plate, or like a piece of glass. Who knows?
A
Like
shoe.
You never know. That's the fun part about it, is that you never know what you're gonna get.
I'm having so much fun.
Yeah, right. So like,
Have you ever been rock climbing?
yes, that's what I was trying to tell you before.
Ah.
Yeah, I went rock climbing once,
Right.
and it was the most incredible thing in my life. And I'm like, I'm doing it every year. I haven't done it since, but every time I look at it, I'm like, hell yeah. And it wasn't like rock climbing. It was like proper on the rocks.
Proper.
Proper
Well,
rock
let's have
climbing.
a look at a story about rock
we have
climbing.
a story.
We have a story about rock climbing.
Oh, no, what are you asking me about?
I
You
know.
cheeky devil. Let's have
I'm
a look.
cheeky.
I've been rock climbing for about 10 years. In high school, my parents would take me on holidays to the Grampians and the Blue Mountains also, and I was always bored with whatever they were doing, so they'd send me with a guide and I'd go climbing with them, and from the first time I went, I just loved it, and I've been climbing ever since. Just after high school, I went on a holiday to the Middle East, and we went climbing in Wadi Rum in Jordan, and we were there with these Israeli climbers that were better than we were, but we tagged along anyway. So I really had to push my limits to keep up with them, but you know, it gave it all I had, and it was a life-changing moment. It was a really special climb. So with sport climbing, someone's previously gone up and placed protection in the wall. So as you climb up, you simply attach the quick draws and clip them into your rope as you go. You're pretty much guaranteed safety. It's all very reliable gear. Trad climbing, you leave no trace. There's no bolts in the wall. There's no permanent gear. You simply place gear and features in the wall as you go. And then whoever seconds behind you cleans the route and you're good to go. My favourite rock climber by a long shot is Alex Honnold. He does a lot of free soloing, which I'm not into myself, but I have a huge respect for. He seems to have no fear, which is the hardest thing for me to overcome. You can always work on your strength, you can train harder, you can really work on your fitness, but working on the mental game is a true challenge, and he seems to have that nailed, so I have a lot of respect for him in that regard. It's really a balance between the physical side and the mental side. If it's a long climb and your hands are fatiguing, you get scared, and it just snowballs into a bad place. And also the other way around, if the climb is particularly exposed and it's quite scary, you hold on too hard and then your hands fatigue quicker than they need to. So you really have to stay on top of both. You've got to keep your cool and use good technique and just progressively work your way up. The most exciting part is your adrenaline. Nothing beats the rush you get, getting that hard move. It's reaching the top and knowing you got there with your own body. It's just fantastic.
Now,
Over to a quick life hack, and then we'll see you after the break.
see you soon.
Welcome back to the show. Jordan, what do you say we check on the 3D printer's progress?
I think that's the best idea you've ever had. Let's have
go.
a look. All right, we got a little bit more. That's a lot of rigid movement. The 3D printer is getting stressed out. What do you think it could be?
Is that whole platform the thing?
Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe it's a pier.
What's a dock?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know much about the sea, Mitch. That's the first thing you'll learn about me. Anyway, it's time to see what the Chatback crew have been asking people of the streets of Melbourne this week. And the question we're asking this week is, if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Oh, I love this question.
Let's have a looking look.
Chatback. So we're at St. Joseph's Primary School today, and we're asking the kids what superhero power they would want if they could have one. So let's go find out. What's your name, bud? Aaron. Hey, Aaron. I'm Taylor, but I'm not Super Taylor today. Okay. And if you could have any superpower, what would it be, Aaron?
I would like to have super speed.
Super speed. Okay, that's cool. And what would you do with super speed?
If I was going to be late for school, I would be there in like seconds.
Wow, that's a good answer. Good answer. Late for school.
To go back in time.
What would you do with the superpower?
I'd meet Albert Einstein.
Hi, David, and if you could have any superpower, what would it be, David?
Flight.
Flight. What would your superhero name be, bud?
Supreme hero.
Who's good?
The Super David.
The Super David. Oh, that's perfect, David.
The time traveler.
The Time Traveller. Wow, I like that. That's a really cool one. It's like Doctor Who. I don't know if you've ever seen Doctor Who or... What would you do with your flying ability? Yeah, where would you fly to? Yay, but we're at school, so fly around school.
Outer space, maybe?
Outer space. Fly around school, that's a good idea. What would your superpower be if you had one?
Do obstacles.
What obstacles were you thinking about? Jumping and climbing. Shapeshifter, that's cool. What would you do with your superpower? What would you do? Good things, bad things? What would you do? Some negative? Good things.
Mystery 86 rocks.
What superpower would you want, Jordan?
I think I'd like the ability to talk to dead people. How about you, Mitch?
Teleportation, definitely.
Then you can teleport anywhere, like
Away from you.
Oh.
Next up, we have a story about moving from a war-torn country to a peaceful one and the challenges of settling in. Let's have a look.
I arrived to Australia in 2009, looking for a better future and better life. First, I went to English as a second language, with a hope for a job and better life. After learning little English to start my life, I realized that learning English is not the only thing to get a job. Most of companies look for qualifications. He decided to begin study a course to get a qualification so he can get a job. After completing the course, he was once again shattered when he tried applying for a jobs because he wasn't getting accepted anywhere without having 3 to 5 years experience in that industry. Although it was hard to find a job, I tried everything so I can get any kind of job. I did get, but I wasn't the one I always dreamed of. It got to the point where I was forced to love the job because there was nothing else. I worked once in that job and I got used to it. It took some relief of me. At least I have the job in hand, better than nothing. Weeks later, I was severely injured. It took months of hospital visiting, operation and recovering. I got to the point where everything around me was dark, nothing worth anymore. Within the darkness, he tried to look for a light, even if it was a little and hard to find. He just wanted to find one so he can have a hope once again. During recovery, I took first step in helping my uncle with his job editing wedding videos. While helping him, I realized that I have good eye for details. Weeks later, he decided to work with his uncle, editing and recording for a company. During that, he decided to study a course to get better understanding of industry that he is passionate about it. After that, I realized everything happened for a reason. As everybody wants happiness, nobody wants pain. But you can't have rainbow without little rain.
And we have an anonymous special guest in the studio with us today. Hi, thank you for coming in.
That's right.
So where are you from and how did you get to Australia?
I'm from Iraq. I moved from Iraq to Syria. Then from Syria I got a visa as a refugee to Australia.
And whereabouts in Iraq are you from?
I'm from the north area of Iraq.
Mm-hmm. And how come you've decided not to show your face today?
Because people in my community like things to be more in private.
So what in Australia do you like?
I like everything in Australia, especially the peace.
And what advice do you have for other refugees coming into Australia and looking for work?
My advice for them is don't hurry up because everything is being planned for, and try to learn more English and get more certificates and experience in life.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much for coming in. Now we're going to throw to an ad break and we'll be right back after this.
Hi, and welcome back to Smith Street 86.
Woo!
Ooh. Now, before we get started, let's check up on our 3D printer situation, shall we?
Sounds good.
All right. It looks like a cigarette. I don't think it is. I don't know. We're not getting many clues here, Mitch.
No, I think it's a
straw?
puzzle piece.
Or a shoe? Could be a heel. Or a lying down man.
I think it's the ocean.
Ah, well, that's a ridiculous guess. What's up next, Mitch?
Up next is Tales from the Tram.
Ah, cool. Let's have a look.
No worries.
One day, while I was travelling on a tram, the tram driver stopped the tram at a new automated self-cleaning public toilet. She jumped out, and there were men doing some construction work within viewing of the toilet door. She was sitting down, and all of a sudden, the timer has gone off and the door has opened. She tried to organize her clothes in a hurry, with a workman looking at her. The automatic flush has splashed water all over her knickers, and she thought, goodness, I can't jump back on the tram with wet underwear. So she peeled them off and walked back to the tram. She wedged them up in the window and she drove along Casile Street towards Balaclava. There were these tram drivers' knickers blowing in the breeze, drying off. She thought it was practical, and everyone else thought it was unusual. These days, you'd get fired for that.
If you have your own story you'd like to share with us on the show, remember you can send us your tale from the tram on Twitter or Facebook.
That's exciting. Now, for the most livable city in the world, we are heading to Lamington Drive, which is an art space in Collingwood where you can eat lamingtons and have a look at art.
That sounds amazing.
I know.
Let's have a look.
I'm Georgia Perry, and I'm a commercial illustrator and designer based in Melbourne. I do lots of commissioned work, so illustrations for advertising and campaigns, as well as music, so CD packaging and posters, and I also do a lot of kind of my own work for exhibitions and just kind of personal projects, lots of illustration and collage a mixture of things. Both of my parents were artists, so I kind of grew up doing creative things, drawing and painting, and it was kind of always something that was around when I was a child. So I kind of grew up expecting, I guess, in a way that I would always end up doing something that involved art because I just love it so much. So the work itself probably took about 6 or 8 weeks from the kind of initial concept, making those studies and generating all of those shapes, and then scanning them and photographing them into the computer was probably another 2 or 3 weeks. So all in all, the process from start to finish was about 3 months, just from researching and then all the kind of different stages. So this is my first solo exhibition and it's called Shape Up. And so all of the artworks are kind of experiments in shape and composition and colour. So they all started as cut paper or ripped paper shapes, which I then photographed or scanned and put into the computer, and then manipulated colours and kind of experimented digitally before printing them out in kind of really nice large format posters. So most of the artwork, I wanted the show to be really experimental. A lot of my work is commissions, so it's work for a specific purpose, like advertising or like a poster or like a CD packaging or something. So for this show, I wanted it just to be really fun and experimental and bright, and just experiment with some shapes and some large formats that I hadn't really ever done before, especially in a gallery environment, which is really new for me. I'm really lucky to do what I do. I always love art and I always loved making things when I was young, and I never kind of really thought that there would be a way that you could make a living out of doing that. And I'm really excited and happy that I've found that, and that I can use design and use illustration to express yourself and make a living at the same time. So I guess I think to anybody thinking about doing that, or anyone that has a love for art or design, I just think it's something that if you stick to it and you keep working and you kind of just keep a goal in mind, you can really make a living out of it, and it's a really fun way to live. I'm my own boss and you set your own hours, and I just get to experiment and have fun, so it's a pretty good way.
Okay, that was a really interesting story, but now I feel like we have to check up on the 3D printer. What do you?
Yes, I think that's the best idea you've ever had.
And I think that we'll probably be able to guess it after this one, don't you?
Yeah, and then we'll get the big reveal.
This is the one.
This
All
is
right.
the one. Okay, I think it's gonna be a cat. Looks like a cat lying down.
It's
Possibly I'm still leaning towards a straw, but maybe a bendy straw variety. I don't know. Like, could you
It's
put that in a
like-
milkshake? Would you put that in a milkshake?
It's like a loaf. No, it's a coffin.
Whoa! Why?
Oh, creepy.
Oh my God! There's a person in there.
Is it bones?
Far out.
Oh, it's a mummy.
No, it's a mummy. Oh, topical. That's cool. Thanks again to our friends at 3D Printer World Superstore for letting us have this little guy. Was it part of a big project? Like, I'm a bit confused. Is it a message?
It's so cute.
I don't know, but I love it.
Oh, Jordan, I think that's the end of our show for this week.
Okay.
Which is sad, but I'm sure that you'll see us next week. But in the meantime, would you like to follow us on Twitter or Facebook maybe?
Yeah, that'd be amazing. That's about it for this week. So thank you all, and we'll see ya next week.
Try not to end up in one of these guys.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Now that I found you, now that I found you, now that I found you. someone's gonna